Hey everybody, what's happening? It's your boy Kellz, aka Special K, back at you yet again for this week's episode of the Culture Marauders podcast, the show where we maraud on all culture and deliver the goods to you, the masses, also known as the listeners and followers. Thank you again for showing up and tuning in and listening, whatever it may be. It is Tuesday, July 7th of 2020. Yes, we are in July already, and you could hardly tell. The summer has been one of those things where it feels like the spring, which also feels like the winter in a case. So I know it's like Groundhog's Day for a lot of y'all, but hey, that's what the Culture Marauders are here to do. Break it up a little bit, give you a little something to think about and laugh about and have a little fun and learn. So, hey, thank you for marauding with us on this episode. I hope everybody had a happy and festive 4th of July. Here at the Kellz household with the kids and the wife, Rena, we had a good time. A little barbecue, a lot of swimming. Hey, we even broke out some Foursquare. My wife bought some painter's tape and a rubber ball, old school style, the one where you get hit in the face and it still rings in your ear. And we got busy with a little Foursquare in the front yard, so we had a really, really good time. So, hey, I hope everybody had a safe time. No COVID cases out there. I wish you the best. And so we're just gonna go ahead and delve into this week's episode, which is a jewel. I'm gonna tell you right now, the guest we got this week. He's a fellow marauder. He's been loyal to the show, avid supporter, and he gets his chance to shine on this episode. So we're calling this one episode 30, The Running Man, and that's one of my favorite Schwarzenegger movies. One of the ones I can actually stomach because it's got a lot of bad quips in it and cheesy catchphrases. But this ain't your average running man. This running man, the one that we're talking about, is Mr. David Doran, and so we want to welcome him to the show. What's happening, Dave? What's going on? You there, Dave? So it looks like he locked up. He looks like the comm locked up, but hey, we're gonna keep. Okay, there he is. I got you. So what's going on, man?
Technical difficulties. Loving life.
That seems to be like a reoccurring theme on this show, man. We had some last week and the week before, but that's all right. We're gonna make it work. How you been?
Good. Actually had a race a couple last weekend before last.
Oh yeah,
A long time.
I'm not doing any more racing, man. I'm out of the military. There's no more racing. You know what? I take that back. I raced my son, my 15-year-old son, right? I raced him for the first time in a couple years, and he finally beat me in a sprint, man. I was so defeated. And now he's getting better at basketball than me. And only thing I got him on still is strength and experience and smarts. So I guess that counts for something. But hey, my alibi is I raced him in a pair of Vans slip-ons. He beat me, but if I had on regular shoes, I probably would have fared better. But anyway, so yeah, we got David Doran. He's our guest today, episode 30, The Running Man, and today we are marauding on running with beer. That's right, you were reading that correct, fellow marauders. We are talking about running with beer, and not just getting liquored up and running like a lot of us have done in our college days or our early military days or days of our youth. I know I ran from some cops a couple times drunk trying to get back to the dorms, so I wouldn't get caught and get in trouble at work. So I think we can relate. But Dave here, he does a little bit differently, a little bit more classy, so he's going to drop some knowledge on us, how we can do that. Hey, as always, y'all, if you're enjoying the show, I got the scroll at the bottom. If you're enjoying what you hear, hey, tips are appreciated but not required. Hit us up at our Cash App. It's hashtag Keltron, anything you like. So hey, anything would be appreciated. Or if you want to jump in on the show and you got questions, myself and Dave will be on here to answer them. So, hey, let's welcome Dave. All right. So before we get started, you know how we do. We either do the Poddex deck or we got the One's Gotta Go deck. I haven't rocked with the One's Gotta Go deck in a while, David. So you're going to go ahead and be the recipient of this deck. So let me cycle through it. We'll cycle through it. As you can see, hey, it's all at random. I didn't make any of this up. All right. Pull in from the top. One's Gotta Go. Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. One's Gotta Go. The Mission Impossible movies, the John Wick movies, the Matrix trilogy, or the Fast and the Furious movies. You got to get rid of one of them.
Ooh. Ouch. Can I get rid of two?
No.
Too easy. Fast and Furious. I'm old, man.
How do you get?
I am old. I am that old.
Oh man, what do you mean? Like The Fast and if anything, I'm probably getting rid of the Mission Impossible movies, man. I haven't seen John
That
Wick.
was my number. That was my 1.5.
Yeah, you would have got rid of that. So Tom Cruise is a little over the top, but last one I saw, I think, was like part 4. It was like Ghost Protocol, and it was okay. It was like, you know, kind of getting back to the essence of the films, like The Spy and all that stuff. It wasn't all goofy with the John Woo doves flying all everywhere, looking all crazy. I haven't seen John Wick. Matrix stands on its own, and Fast and the Furious, like what's his name said on a Office Party, man, Office Christmas Party. They only get more fast and more furious with each installment, man. So I know John Cena is coming in the next one. How are you not excited for that?
Just doesn't move me, man.
All right, man. Well, hey, all the same, man, you're a fellow Marauder, so welcome to the crew, and let's get on with this interview, right? So, hey, Jeff Hunt is already anticipating. He said, let's see those Ranger panties. All right, here it is.
Oh, no, just regular shorts today. Regular shorts today.
All right, David. So, hey, first question up on the docket, right? So, who is Dave Doran? Tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Difficulties.
Yep.
Born in Moses Lake, Washington.
Okay.
My dad was a helicopter pilot in Vietnam. Long story short, ended up moving around a whole lot. Eventually, at 23, got into the Army. Best decision of my life.
Okay.
Didn't even like beer until I got to Germany.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it, especially double dunkels. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's your go-to? Is that what you're sipping on right now?
No, this is just an IPA.
Oh, okay. See, I'm not a big IPA fan, man. I'm not. I like a lot of Belgians, man. The Belgian blend is my favorite. More likely, or more so, the Tripels. So that's what I mess with. But like you, I didn't develop my taste for beer or love of beer until I lived in Germany. I was stationed at Ramstein from 2002 to 2005. So yeah, I worked there north out there.
We may have crossed paths.
Potentially.
I was at Long School.
You're at Long School
from let's see, 2 to 4.
We might have crossed paths at some point, man. Because all right, check it out. Do you remember when Ja Rule and J Lo and all them came out to Ramstein? Do you remember that?
No.
Oh, man, they came out there, and that's when like J Lo and Ja Rule were like really hot on the charts. And they said she showed up. Ja Rule and Kid Rock, I think, was with him. And they said Ja Rule actually showed up and did PT with the Army, and then J Lo wouldn't get up. J Lo wouldn't show up, and she had to have like her billeting room like in all white roses and all that shit, man. Yeah. So she was way over the top, but you know, hey, at least Ja Rule showed up. So
yep, nice.
Right. So, like you said, you know, military background from your family, did some time yourself. How long did you actually serve?
18 years and change.
18 years, you said?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. So did you get out with retirement, or what happened? If you could talk about it.
They decided I was crazy enough that they let me out.
Nice.
I was med boarded.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, all right. So after that, so while you were over there, right? So you had the drinking, the beer. You found the love of beer, like most people do when they move to Germany or travel over that way. So where did the running come into on this?
Long story short, a bad relationship.
Oh, okay. Well, those usually tend to turn your life in a different angle. So, share a little bit more about that.
It was more enjoyable to run for 20 miles by myself than spend a single minute with her.
Jesus. God damn.
True story.
Woo. All right.
So, I realized that I really enjoy being by myself out in the woods, especially. Trails, love them. And it's my personal time.
So Germany has a lot of really dope trails. Is that where you started picking it up out there, running in like in the woods and stuff?
Yes and no. Actually, I picked it up a little bit beforehand in the Washington, D.C. area. They have a huge running community and lots of competition. Okay.
All right. So was it one of those things where, you know, you did your first race and you were like bit by the bug, or was it just, you know, just a way to kind of unwind and like you said, get away from, you know, the negativity back at the house? Like how did that passion really develop?
Definitely A, bit by the bug, but B, self-medicating. I mean, that's the way I help deal with some of my stressors in life is just burn off that excess energy.
Right.
I mean, I've killed a couple of treadmills in my life because
Really?
I had a bad day at work, but I didn't hurt anybody. So
I guess that's a positive, right? You ain't hurt nobody but your knees and, and yourself. So, and I used to run quite a bit before I got, I guess my body told me maybe that's not the best way to exercise anymore. But I definitely love like running over in Germany and just the crispness of the air, being out in the woods and stuff like that, and just that environment. Do you experience the runner's high? Can you talk to the listeners out there about the mythical runner's high and what that is actually?
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost like when you hit a different plane in meditation. Just a surge of joy and excitation goes through your body. One of the easiest ways I've found it is to get going about 70-75% of my max, where it still feels comfortable, but I'm pushing myself. And then if the right music hits, the right song, it's on. It's on. I'm in the zone, just like that.
So what's on your running playlist?
Oh, I'm very eclectic.
Okay.
But I mean, you can't go wrong with people like Tribe Called Quest. But I also love some serious metal.
Okay.
Even some techno thrown in there.
That's not bad.
I have a hard time with country though.
Yeah, I mean, it's good for drinking. It's good for drinking, but I would imagine for running, it's probably not the best thing. Tribe Called Quest, you get a good Ali Shaheed Muhammad beats going, and then if you want to listen to techno, Europe, that's primarily what they're known for. They got a couple of nice little bands out there. Other than that, but that is the home of the techno sound. And so I've had some stuff on there. I've run to a lot of Rage Against the Machine. Rap, I find it kind of hard to run to. It's not one of my favorite genres to actually put shoes to the road on. But mainly, I listen to some classic rock.
This doesn't move me.
What's that? But yeah, like I was saying, David, classic rock. I can put some of that on, like some Jane's Addiction, Red Hot Chili Peppers are my all-time favorite, next to Led Zeppelin. So, once I can get that going, that's a usually a good run. Even up living in Jersey, when I was living in Jersey, they had the weather up there was real conducive to running, and they had a lot of the woods and stuff out there as well. So, that's what I'm bumping when I run. Like I said, Rage Against the Machine and Led Zeppelin, classic rock.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, I really appreciate. I love Rage. I don't necessarily agree with the politics.
Yeah.
More than 20% of the time, but there's something about the passion they bring to the game that pushes.
Yeah, and it's funny because you go back 20 years ago, these guys were singing and rapping about the stuff that we're experiencing now, that we're seeing right now at our doorsteps. And I posted something a while ago, say, hey, where are these guys when we need a soundtrack to what's going on? And Zach De La Roca is doing stuff with Run the Jewels, the Run the Jewels project and stuff, but we got to get him, Tom Morello, and the rest of the gang, get them back together and put out some really, really dope music for what's going on in the world today, I think. So
good idea.
So all right. Tell me your experience so your first marathon, right? Was it something that you were just kind of coaxed into, or you're like, what, I think I can do it, how did that come about, and what was it?
That was the crowning jewel of my running away from a bad relationship.
Did you just run and not come back when it was over, or how did that work?
That's about it. No, it wasn't very fast for a lot of people, but road marathons are rough because you're moving the same muscle group the same way for hours on end. Overuse injuries are common. You're hitting cement every step of the way. So it was brutal, but it still pushed me. I went out a couple of days later, I signed up for my next one.
Damn.
Yeah.
I did a 12-hour run for I think it's Air Force Aid Society back in 07, 08. And man, my body is not built to run distance, right? So and it was one of those things where you ran 2 miles, you got a nap, and then the rest of your team, which is 10 people, they would run there, and then it would circle back around. Dude, by 2 in the morning, I was ready to quit. I was ready to go to Waffle House and lay it down at the house, but my body was just beat to hell. But I understand what you're saying. It was rewarding at the end to know that you pushed yourself, right, to finish that. And me and my wife, we were sore for like 2 days after. And we did go get that Waffle House. And we went back to the house and we just laid in bed for like a day and a half, man. It was wild, but there is that sense of like pride, knowing that you stepped up and actually pushed through something that, you normally wouldn't try.
Yeah. Each challenge just falls and I'm looking for the next challenge. That's
Okay.
the problem with it's part of the reason I drink a little bit. Slow me down. So I calm down a little bit instead of being so flippin' hyper about stuff.
Yeah, were you like a hyperactive person like in the Army, or matter of fact, what was your specialty in the Army?
Okay, nerd time.
All right,
I'm the guy who was in charge of the guys who repaired medical equipment in hospitals.
You were medical logistics.
I was med maintenance.
Med maintenance? Okay.
Well,
that's essential. Like, especially you look at it today, right? Respirators and all that stuff. You could probably fetch a pretty penny for your job, right? Like nowadays for your skill set. You wouldn't do it?
Nope. I'm done with doctors. Done with them forever.
Why? Are they just assholes in general, or what's up with that?
The problem with being smart in a specific subject is it bleeds over into other parts of your life, and you think you're smart about everything. So when a young soldier would come up to a doctor and say, "You can't do that, sir. Not with that piece of equipment." They'd take you to task, and you'd be like, "I got the high ground, sir."
Yeah. And they don't like to hear that, man. Like, especially officers, they ain't trying to hear that. They think they're God's gift to the military, and I take that back. I know some really, really outstanding officers, some good folks. Shout out to Bennett Stuppy out there, loyal listener, loyal supporter of the Culture Marauders. Appreciate you. But yeah, and but you do have those people, and I think from the officer to enlisted perspective, a lot of the times you get a lot of those officers, because they went the traditional route of college and all that stuff. They kind of look down on the enlisted, so maybe that's part of it too. They don't like being told, from somebody they view as lesser than them.
Yep, absolutely.
That's right. So, all right. So you knocked out your first regular marathon. You also compete in ultra marathons as well, correct?
Correct.
So, what is the difference between a regular marathon and an ultra marathon?
Fun.
So what, the ultra marathon, you just take the fun out of it altogether?
Other way around.
Really? So a regular marathon is what, 26 miles, right?
26.2.
Okay, 26.2. And what's an ultra?
Anything over 26.2.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to do either one of those, but I can understand. So, all right. So your first ultra marathon, right? How did the idea come up? Like, so how many regular marathons did you have under your belt before you like, you know what? Let's turn it up. Let's see what I'm really made of and try this ultra thing.
It was almost 10 years.
Okay.
Literally just ran a couple of marathons and called it good for a while and kind of messed up my life. And when I decided to put things back together, I'm like, what was I going to do? Oh, right. Ultra.
So your first ultra marathon, where was it at? And what was the distance on it?
Texas. It was a 50K.
Ooh.
It's okay.
Oh.
It was like October.
Oh, it's still hot in Texas. Well, where were you? Like North Texas?
Nope. Central.
Oh, hell with that. No. I can think of a million other ways I get sent to the hospital besides doing some shit like that. So go ahead. So, all right, Central Texas, hill country. Were you in the hill country or flat?
Yes, but it wasn't that bad. It was pretty flat.
Okay.
Temperatures were mild. They were in the low 90s.
No beer at this point, right?
What's that?
Was there beer involved at this point?
No, I was too scared to touch the beer at that point.
Okay, all right.
Scared of it.
So how did you fare in it, or was there a point, right? So you said 50K.
Yeah.
At what point did your mind say, you know what the hell are you doing? Or did it even ever reach that point? Were you just on like a continuous high, or was it a pride thing to push you through? How does that work when you're running that much distance?
Well, my dumbass had scouted the route and showed up late anyway. So I'm 9 minutes behind the starters. So I had to chase him the entire day. And the last few miles, I was so far beyond my limits that every time I stubbed my toe, my entire leg would cramp up.
Oh,
And yeah, I felt like quitting, but I had already committed to it, so it just wasn't going to happen.
Jesus. I mean, that's borderline crazy in determination. But
Well, I'm diagnosable, so
okay, I got you. So what? I'm still trying to wrap my mind around it, right? Because at one point I loved running. I still love running, but the physical toll that takes on your body. How long did it take you to complete your first ultra?
4 hours 47 minutes.
4 hours?
Yep.
Damn, you were yo. So I see people like on the Boston Marathon, New York Marathon, right? They run it in like 2 to 3 hours, if I'm correct. You ran this in 4.5 hours, an ultra marathon, 50K.
Yeah.
What is your split?
I couldn't tell you anymore. All I know is I was running negative splits because that's the way I trained.
Yo, my homie Nolan from Beerlosophy Studios, he said running is horrible. Yeah, I mean, there's no other way around it. Like, I'm thinking about, my Air Force PT test, right? The measly 1.5 miles we have to run, and how I'm like plotting and scheming on the first meal I'm going to eat because I have to like starve myself to run this thing. And I'm a solid runner, like, or at least I was, at least I thought I was. But to run that much, like how do you motivate yourself for that? Like to what do you do to get yourself in a place where look, I'm running over 100 miles. How do you get yourself to that point?
I haven't done over 100 yet, so I couldn't tell you.
Okay. So 50 so is a 50K as in how many miles is that?
Only 31 miles.
Oh, that's it? Oh, okay. That's light changing. Okay, I could do that probably. No, I'm lying. I probably still could.
No. The interesting thing about ultras is they're almost always trail. So they're always going to be slower than your marathon pace.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
Varying terrain, but it gives your muscles a chance to change up. So you're not always using the same muscles the same way.
Okay. All right.
So it's more like you're a kid. You're just out there having fun.
Look, Jeff said just 30. Hey, anything over 6, I'm phoning it in, man. I can't do it. It's just wild to me that for anybody to be able to run like that, right? So let's see. Yep, Nolan said big props. Ultra runners are a different breed, and I can only imagine just like the training and everything that you have to do to prepare yourself for that, which we're gonna get into here soon. I want to know, what do you put your body through in order to put your body through, a marathon or ultra marathon? So before we get to that, though, you are a 100% genuine certified beer server.
Yes.
How does that work? And tell me more about what all that entails.
Well, Cicerone, the company that certifies, has all these levels. And this one up here costs about $10,000.
Okay.
And years to get there.
Okay.
So I'm down here.
All right. So that's the first tier, the first level?
Very first tier.
You got like the white belt. If you were in Taekwondo, you'd be like a white belt, yellow belt guy.
Yellow. I'll give myself yellow.
Okay. All right. Cool. So beer server, like, is this a beer server in the traditional sense, or are you kind of like a subject matter expert about beer? You know how to serve the right like glassware to pour beer in, serve beer in, stuff like that. Tell me a little bit about that.
Right glassware, how to clean the systems, how to make sure that how to guide your customer towards the right beer.
Okay.
If they describe to you what kind of beers they like, you can point them to the right beer.
All right.
But it's just base level knowledge.
Cool. So look, Nolan said he's in the process of working on that right now. So like I said, Beerlosophy Studios, this man is entrenched in beer, and he's turned me on to a lot of good ones. So that's dope, Nolan. I know you're doing that, man. Congrats, and keep pushing.
Hey, Nolan, when am I going to be on your show?
There it is. See? Wink, wink. So, but look, so you do that. So is there a goal or end game in mind for this, or is this just something that's a passion for you and you really wanted to dig deeper and learn basically all you can about the process of serving and knowing about beer?
It's about building a strong base. I claim to be about beer and running, so I better know a decent bit about both of them.
Okay. All right. Because I would figure, let's see. Hold on. He said, word, all right. And oh yeah, I can get you on, man. So there it is. Look, another connection from the Culture Brothers. Look at that. Hey.
There we go.
So hey, I think y'all would do well, man. I definitely tune into that just to hear y'all chop it up about beer and all that stuff. And I know Jeff would too, man. So we were talking about doing a beer episode as well, but I'm gonna leave that to the experts. All I know is like, the stuff either I pick up at Total Wine. I'm really feeling this Anderson Valley Summer Solstice. I think it's the first time I ever had it. Pretty dope. I like the smoothness of it, and it has like a really, really good flavor at the end. So hey, I'm shout out to Summer Solstice from Anderson Valley.
Nice.
But yeah, so all right. So like I was saying with the beer server thing, like most times I would think like maybe that would be something for somebody who's like looking to start their own brewery or something like that. But for you, are you looking to turn what you're doing, the running with beer idea? Are you looking to turn that into a brand or something like that with this, or is there more behind it that you don't want to share, or is this basically what I'm seeing is what I get?
Working on branding it.
Okay.
It's kind of a lifestyle thing, but I'm sure we'll get into a lot of the details later.
Okay.
But how can I say this? If I was a bipod and I had a strong leg, that'd be running.
Okay.
I have 20 years of running experience, and now I'm a running coach.
Nice. Okay. All right. So let's talk about that, right? Let's talk about that. The running coach. And we're going to talk some beer too. So
okay.
Tell me about that.
I am recently certified let me get this correct, United Endurance Sports Coaching School certified graduate.
All right. Hey.
Thank you.
So,
no,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Between me and my girlfriend, we can coach it anywhere from a 5K all the way up through ultras now. I definitely specialize probably in the half marathon and up, because that's where the pain begins.
Yeah.
I'm not about the speed. I'm about the endurance.
The long game, right?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Whew. Does your girlfriend let you coach her?
I got her through her first 50K.
Nice.
She'll never do it again.
But she did it, right? So it doesn't matter if you do it again. You step up.
If I ever tried to talk her into it again, she'll probably strangle me.
So when she was done, did she not talk to you, period? Or how did that work? How was that crossing the finish line moment for her?
There was a lot of frustration involved.
Why so?
She needed something different from me. She needed more motivation from me than I provided her, and I was afraid to push her too hard. So we had a communication gap there, as most couples do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's whether you're coaching somebody running or not, you're going to run into those things. But is that something? So you just got certified. Is that something that you take back and maybe look and see, next time or with another client? Do you take that, that feedback and maybe spin it and just kind of analyze their needs versus what you think they need?
Yeah. Definitely talk about the pregame, the just before the race, get that ironed out, as opposed to after the fact.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because my wife, like, I try to support her, but my support turns into a little bit more of like directing, and that usually doesn't fly well with her. So she gets pissed at me. We were shooting ball out in the front yard, and I was like, "Oh man, you gotta do this." She's like, "Get the hell out of my face, couch coach!" And I was like, "All right." So I left her alone. Right? So,
there it is.
So yeah. So we're gonna get to the point where we got you on here, right? Beer and running. So how does this work, right? So like I said, before we got on, I told you I've been trying to wrap my head around this and come up with like some intelligent questions, but I am struggling to understand, like, how do you merge the two without one, barfing on yourself, or two, dehydrating yourself to hell and really messing yourself up. So please, Coach Doran, tell me how does this work?
Let's start with the throwing up.
All right.
Most events are not beer miles.
Okay.
So beer mile is not a test of how well you can handle your alcohol. It's about how much volume of fluid you can handle in your stomach, right? Because you're not getting drunk in 1 mile.
Right.
you're not even going to get buzzed until it's all done and over with.
Okay.
So usually I don't play beer mile games because the whole point of drinking is to get that buzz on, to enjoy it a little bit. That's why I usually do it halfway through an event to goad myself on, to keep myself moving, but not so much that I'm pushing too hard.
So you don't start drinking like beer, right? So you don't start drinking that till like midpoint?
Most of the last race I did, it was halfway. Exactly.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna back it up a little bit.
Yeah.
How did you get into this world, like this beer and running culture? Like, was there just a random race that popped up somewhere and you're like, hey, that sounds cool, let me get into it? How did this come about? Like, where did you find this at?
Well, there is a group of individuals out there known as hashers.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
That's where I learned to appreciate the feeling of a good buzz while running.
Okay.
But I also identified the lack of planning in getting home. Because they get tore the fuck up. Not just a little drunk, they get tore the fuck up. And then they're like, I guess I'll drive home. I'm like, no, I can't play that game.
So fellow Marauders, I'm gonna give you just a little tidbit of what the hashers are. This is the Hash House Harriers, right? This is a group of Brits that started kind of like a non-competitive social running club, and their hashtag is a drinking club with a running problem. So they started in 1938, and like I said, by some Brits in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and they would literally run and booze it up from bar to bar, from what I understand. And that's how they got down, and it was just a way of entertainment. Enjoy nature, get out, enjoy nature, enjoy some camaraderie and some fellowship, and while having a drink. And that's where it is. And this is Dave said this is not what it was, but he got the idea. The idea of what he does is derived from that. So I'm sorry, back to you, Dave.
I'm derivative. I use that bad word, derivative. But I decided to spin it a little bit different and go a little bit more crafty on the beers, a little bit more tasty, and to enjoy one or two at a time and get a little buzz on and enjoy that feeling, just like people do when they're exercising and getting high.
Okay.
That same little buzz. But the benefit to beer is, especially when you're talking endurance, it takes some of the pain away.
Right. So from what I read, right, and do you happen to hit like the proverbial marathon wall while you're running? Have you ever hit that?
I did when I was younger.
Okay.
I don't anymore.
So fellow Marauders, again, so I'm gonna drop a little bit more knowledge on you, right? So the marathon wall is when your muscles run out of glycogen, and basically it's like your body is stored. It's your body stored form of carbohydrates, which is what you need, for fuel to power yourself through runs and stuff like that. So when that's depleted, your body becomes hypoglycemic due to the use of all the glucose in your blood and in your body and stuff, and results in muscle fatigue. So that's the marathon wall that you hit. Therefore, you slow down and your body starts to fatigue. But with beer, from what I've been reading, like beer is 90% water, right? 4.6% and up from alcohol of alcohol. And then when you add that in, it has the weed, the hops and stuff like that, the mild, small traces of carbohydrates. And is that where you get like extra energy while you run is from that?
I don't factor it into my energy plan at all.
Mm-hmm.
But I do factor it into my just not taking it so seriously. I don't spend much time on the podium. It's not my goal to be a racer.
Okay.
I enjoy running. I don't enjoy racing that much anymore.
Okay.
So it's all about getting out there and having fun. And one of the quickest ways you can have fun is to take that pain away.
Yeah.
The downside to that is when you do drink alcohol, it cuts off your feedback loop.
Explain that.
Most sports cars have tachometers, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know exactly how hard you're pushing that engine, not how fast you're going, because that's all relative.
Right.
How hard you're pushing that engine. Well, as soon as you start drinking alcohol, your tachometer goes off the wall. It's done. So you don't know if you're pushing too hard, too fast, or too slow.
Huh.
So as long as you're not afraid to keep it in those lower gears, beer is fine. But if you start pushing up into that fifth gear,
yeah,
don't touch the beer.
Not happening, huh?
Yeah, it just you'll redline.
Huh.
You'll tap out and you'll come back down to first and second gear again. So longer events, I'd say even beyond 50K, 50 miles plus, Nothing wrong with a little beer here and there, but that's if you're not competitive. If you're competitive, leave the beer at home until you're done.
Okay. All right. So, and that's something I want to get into because, alcohol, for the most part, I mean, it's not really banned in competitive racing. I mean, in this case, I know it says, I read where the World Anti-Doping Agency, alcohol has been banned in certain events such as like anything where you're shooting or archery and stuff like that, because it steadies the nerves, right? So, in giving the participant or the athlete a little bit of an edge. So you don't have that same effect when, in running. I mean, I'm sure it mellows you out a little bit. Like you said, it takes away the pain. Can that be perceived or viewed as maybe a little bit of a competitive edge?
It can be. Certain people who have scored big time on the world stage recently have had a beer or two during their events.
Okay.
True story. I just don't recommend it for the average individual trying to push their limits. If you're out there to have fun, cool. If you're out there to win a record, yeah, leave it at home.
Okay, all right. So while we're on the topic of beer and all that good stuff, so do you set your own beers like throughout the course, or do you just say, hey, these are the beers I want at this spot around this time? How does that work?
I like most ultra runners, I have a running vest, and the pouches up front are big enough for 17-ounce bottles, which is ironically about the size of a. Oh wait, this is 16 ounces. It fits perfect. It's awesome. So just have to run fast enough. It's not that cold.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you put those out there. So what are your go-to beers? Like, you said you don't like the lighter stuff, right?
I don't have really, how can I describe this? I'm into experimentation.
Oh, like most people. Okay.
That sounds creepy enough?
So you're not drinking like Radlers and shit like that. No, you're drinking like you said you like craft beer, right? So
I like craft beer.
So what does it vary per race? You're like, you know what? I'm in the mood for this time. So maybe I'll throw some of these on the vest or whatever. How does that work? How do you set your lineup?
I mean, it's weather related, just like about every other beer event is. There's no way I'm dragging a stout, imperial stout out onto the trail when it's 100 degrees.
You're asking to bark and a stretcher. So,
yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right. So it feels for me, oh, here we go. Look, he said I'm the same way. So Nolan knows, man. Like I didn't know you were a beer drinking runner, Nolan. I know you run. I know you got some speed on you, but I didn't know you were down with that. Hey, more power to you. Little known fact about the homie Nolan out there from Beerlosophy Studios. So, moving on to the next question, right? So you got the beer. You've done regular marathons. You've done ultra marathons. You do it not for the placement, but you do it for the enjoyment and to relax and and all that stuff. How do you train for this? I know there's a couple different ways because not every race is the same, right? The terrain is different, location, climate, and all that stuff. But generally, for your body to put yourself through 2 to 4 hours worth of running, how do you prepare yourself for that?
Ooh, 2 to 4 hours is the training. Most races I do are 6 hours plus these days. So it's always race dependent, always run dependent, always course dependent. Specifically, my next one's only a marathon.
Okay. Only a marathon, right?
You ready for the catch?
Let's hear it.
It goes up Pikes Peak.
Shit. No, dude.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. I would watch that on TV just to see, like, I would love to see that on TV. I would say to actually watch that while I'm drinking a beer and probably eating like a pulled pork sandwich or something like that. But I couldn't imagine. I could not imagine that. So when is this coming? And how is your mindset for this?
A little more uncomfortable than usual. Because I don't get the joy of music this time.
What? Why not?
This race is run more like a road race, and you're not allowed any headphones.
No
music
shit.
source whatsoever. So, yeah.
Alone with your thoughts running Pikes Peak.
Yep.
Are you still going to do it?
I signed up. The race is still on.
You haven't stepped up yet. It's not too late. You got to think this through, Dave. Like, hey, you're gonna get about halfway through that mug, and you're gonna run out of songs to hum in that head, man. So, I couldn't imagine that, man. There's no way, especially for, and this is just a regular 26.2, right?
Yep. It's literally half marathon up, half marathon down.
Okay. All right. So you're coming back. Okay. All right. Okay. Well,
you're going to gain 8,000 feet of vert.
So first of all, your legs are going to be fried. So are you setting up? So how do you got your beer plan set up? Are you waiting to do this at the top? Like a celebration drink and let's rock back down, or what's your plan? What's your game plan?
This one may be beerless.
What? Oh man.
That top quarter mile is so sketchy. It's more like bouldering. It is actually hard to find the trail.
Oh shit, man, that's dangerous, yo. I
did a risk assessment, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be a beerless one. I'm going to have to wait until I'm done.
Okay, all right, man. When is this? This race?
August 23rd.
Okay. Well, the weather should be solid. So I mean, the higher up you go, the cooler we get. But that air is thin, bro. That air is.
They have these summer storms up there, and they roll in. If that lightning starts striking, they shut the race down.
Dave, I'm trying to offer you some support, man. Like, I'm trying to find the silver. I'm trying to find
no silver lining. This is gonna suck.
So what are you doing to train for this? Right? You said the training is 2 hours. What exercises and stuff are you doing, to physically prepare yourself for this?
All right. So, have you ever been to Arizona?
Driving through.
Okay, I'm in Arizona right now.
Okay.
Tomorrow, I'm going to go summit the tallest peak in Arizona, which is 12,000 and change.
Okay. How many times you run that in preparation?
One a day.
One a day?
Mostly hiking. It's going to be slow and painful, and I'm going to be out of breath.
Shit. You. It sounds like you're fighting Drago, not like preparing for this, man. Like I see shit like this in Rocky, not in real life. But hey, man, my hat's off to you, man. Like just hearing that does not sound like fun to me at all. But I get it, right? Like I get the payoff at the end, and it's just a constant challenge for yourself. I get it. But man, daily, right? Like, so that's one of my other questions, right? Like on days, because there's got to be days you don't want to do it. There's got to be days. How do you motivate yourself, to push through and keep training and keep pushing yourself to get to that point where, hey, I got it?
It's an experience thing. I mean, for me, I've had so many bad days. I know most of them aren't real. They're in my head.
Yeah.
And I can make it through that. If my body is physically too beat up to train that day, then I don't train. Okay.
All right. Simple as that, right? Like, hey, if I ain't feeling it, my body ain't feeling it. Okay, well, that's good. At least because a lot of people, man, they get in their heads. Like, I remember for me, there's a time where I got into like a really, really, really solid running habit. Man, I dropped a gang of weight. And it got to the point where I was running twice a day. I was doing like 6 miles twice a day. I do it before I go to work, get off and run again. And I was just feeling good. And I was in that constant runner's high. Yeah. But after a while, man, it tore my knees up. It tore my ankles up. And it's just, I had to pull away from it. So, yeah, I definitely get that.
Well, so current doctrine says you shouldn't train every day back to back to back to back anyway. You need days off to recover. Man, you don't get stronger when you're training. You get stronger when you're recovering. Okay.
Huh. So you said you're going up to the highest point in Arizona. You're going to hike that.
Yep.
And so during that, so that's prep for physically, right? Mentally, what's going through your mind when you're prepping yourself for this?
Probably turn off. I'm not going to have any music, so that's going to be training for the race right there. B, have my heart rate monitor on, so I see the correlation between how hard it feels and how hard it actually is at elevation, because it's getting up to 12,000 plus feet. Okay. So it's going to be a whole different game up there compared. I live at 5,000 feet right now, so it's not terrible.
Right.
But it's still going to have an effect on me. And then it's just keep on driving through. The more time spent on feet, you vanquish so many demons when you're out there training that you don't have as many on race day.
Nice. Yeah, and that I can agree with. I know I've used running, like I said, when I was running that time, just to clear your mind. And I would watch TV or I'd watch a basketball game, and it just takes you somewhere different, and you're just running. It's just the sound of your breathing and stuff like that. And I can see how you can get lost in it, but just that pain, man. When I would do treadmill running, and once I step off that treadmill, it's like you unplug from the matrix and your body is mush, man. Like, you're in so much pain, but it's that high, right? It's that feeling of that high, man. And it's just one of those things that, you just grow accustomed to feeling. So, okay. So physically, mentally, what are you putting in your body? Like how does nutrition play into your race prep?
I try to do whole foods, mainly plant-based, but I do a lot of meat, protein.
Okay.
Try to cut back on the excess sugars. That's the basics.
So, how far out do you start, like, actually, dialing in your nutrition from a race? Do you eat normal? Like, are you a pretty clean eater normally for the most part? And then, it's easy to transition into race prep, or do you kind of eat bad here and there and then dial it in?
I do my best to keep the diet dialed in most of the time. It saves a lot of time in trying to convert to a different kind of eating schedule, for lack of better terms.
Okay.
And it keeps the weight down. I've got another 5 pounds or so to lose before this next race, which shouldn't be a problem.
Okay. Yeah, that's a hike tomorrow, man. Like you should be down by tomorrow.
There's mainly water tomorrow.
Okay. So what's your vice, man? Like food wise, like what's that one thing? Like, man, when I finish this race, I'm hitting this up as soon as I'm done. What's it? Do you have anything like that?
Too easy. It's just pizza.
Pizza. Okay. Like thin crust, Chicago style, New York style. Yeah. Like what? Yes. What's your?
Yes.
Just pizza.
Yes, I'm a pizza slut.
I'm not a thin crust like pizza guy, man. Like my wife loves it. Anytime she wants to get like thin, I'm Chicago, like deep dish, man. I'm talking about like bending the plate type deep dish. Yep. So pizza, is that what you got on the docket for when you finish this one coming up?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So how much?
Probably stop at a brewery on the way out of town. Get some of the local brews and whatever comes out of the food truck.
Okay. All right. Now, when they have these events and stuff like that, do you get a lot of like food trucks and stuff that show up, to kind of feed the participants and like get business that way? Do y'all get a lot of those?
No, it's usually whatever the organizers plan for.
Mm-hmm.
They usually have a decent meal at the end if it's an ultra.
Okay.
And it's usually free for the people who paid for the event.
Nice. So, tell me about the community, right? So the beer and running community. You're cool as hell already, a fellow marauder. What is the community like overall? Pretty supportive, I'd imagine, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to build it. It's not exactly from scratch, but it's starting from near zero. Lay down some ground guidance. I actually have notes. Ready for the notes?
Let's hear it.
We are active. Pretty simple, right?
That's it.
Running is fun, but not exclusive.
Okay.
So if you want to run with beer and you can't run, wheel with beer. Get on your bicycle with beer. Whatever, right?
So this is just a crew that drinks, and no matter how you do it, get out and get active, get moving, but we're involving beer with it.
Yep.
I love it.
Next is we can relax. Beer is good.
Okay.
After that is we are inclusive, except assholes.
Oh, you always got to have that one, man. You always got to have that one.
Right there. Yeah, we don't appreciate people like that.
Okay.
We share with others. All right. So when Dave starts making some money with this company, assuming that ever happens, I'm going to give back 5% to charity.
Nice.
And nice. I'll post those results as I start making money.
Okay.
But I always give back. it's my one huge regret from being in the military is it always felt like I worked so hard I didn't have any time to give something back to the community I was there. I mean, you know how the hours are.
Right.
So you just don't feel like getting up and giving back at that point in time. I'd like to.
Unless it's that forced volunteering that they kind of make you do every now and again, right?
Not in my units.
Really?
Couldn't even. There weren't enough hours in the day.
Wow, man. Well, hey, that's dope. That's really dope.
And we act responsibly.
Okay.
Seems pretty clear, right?
Yeah, I would have figured that would have been the first thing, but hey, as long as you got it on the list.
No. You got to have fun first, and then act responsibly.
That's where I got it wrong. That's why I can't be a part of the crew, because I would have mixed it all.
You're invited.
All right. You know what? I've been thinking about this while you're talking, right? And I keep telling myself, no, I can't do it. No, I can't do it. I might have to dust off the body, and really dial it in and give it a shot, man, because I always like challenges. I told my wife, like, my thing was I wanted to do bodybuilding at one time, but one, it's expensive, and two, I'm not really keen on steroids, so I'm not going to do that stuff and tear my body up. But this is something that it's basically you against nature, right? You against your own mind and nature. And, I think it'd be something really cool to give an honest shot to and train for and try.
Oh, sweet.
So I may be hitting you up, man. I might need that coaching. Just cut me a good deal, man. Cut me a discount.
I'll tell you what, just like I told Jeff, first one's free.
Oh, all right.
I got you, man.
Right. I don't want the consultation. I want the good stuff. Give me the consultation and then give me the free lesson.
Just in case you're worried about my cycling credentials, I got 5 centuries under my belt.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, that's good enough.
And used to be a bike messenger, so.
All right. I trust it. But no, I'm serious, man. Like it's too hot to really run distance down here in Florida. But I know up in Jersey, man, I enjoyed running quite a bit. And even out in North Carolina, I liked it a lot too. So, I mean, that's something I maybe might try at least once, at least to say I did it, whether I finish it or not, at least try to say I did it.
That'd be awesome. I know you could finish it.
Have you ever ran the Boston or the New York?
No, I'm not that fast.
Oh, you got to qualify, right? You have to have like a certain time to get in there. Okay. All right.
I'm not investing that kind of time and effort into cement anymore.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. So, all right. I want the good and the bad, right? Give me your best and worst experiences in these races.
Ooh. I have to go super general on you, man. Just about the best time is anytime I'm out there and my legs aren't falling off and I'm not losing limbs. Worst experience is some days there are more challenges than others.
Yeah. Have you ever got midway through a race and been like, you know what, fuck it, I'm done. I can't do it anymore. Have you ever had those days or those races?
I have. I must admit, Javelina 100. The first time I really tried for 100, I think it was 2018 or so, 18, 19, somewhere in there. I made it 62 miles in and said, "Fuck this."
A good thing it only took you 62 miles to figure. God damn.
It was dark. I was alone. I had another 40 miles to go, 38 miles to go, and I was just like, meh. And I called it. I went home. So, yeah.
Yeah, Uber, come on, come and get me. God, you know what, man? I don't fault you for it, man, because you still had a 50K and then some to do. That's wild, man. Like, But how did you feel, right? Like when you finished it, was it a hit to the pride, or was it like, you know what, today just wasn't my day? How did you cope with that?
Does the Air Force have anything called an AAR?
Oh, after report.
Yep, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's one of the skills I brought over from the Army, and I learned from it. I needed more support. I needed somebody out there with me to help me get that 100. I needed to be alone less in the dark.
Yeah,
either that or I needed to train more in the dark all by myself.
Okay.
So
was the darkness like the dark night running? Was that a new experience for you at that point? Like had you never experienced that type of running?
I had just not as much as that, and it wasn't. There were more people on the last courses I had been on, so this was all by myself.
Oh shit! That alone would have made me call somebody. Man, I don't see nobody else out here. Yo, come and get me. It's over. It's
I heard you calling my name.
Yeah, wolves howling and shit. Yo, I would have been gone.
This is Arizona.
Oh, hell no. Hell no. Well, hey, good thing is you made it out, and you knew, man. You knew when to fold, man. When to fold it in, and like you said, the AAR, the after action report, you broke it down and knew what you needed to succeed. So the next time you went out, right, and you did the night run, have you competed at anything another like super ultra? I guess I imagine that would be where you found yourself in the same situation.
No, I haven't been back there yet. I've been there with other people, but not by myself.
Okay.
So,
is there a plan to here in the future?
I will knock out a night or a mountain ultra by myself, 100 miler, but I don't know how much farther in the future that's going to be. Right now, I'm running between 50K to 60-ish miles. Those are my events.
Okay.
I'm not really pushing up into the 100-mile mark. I did a 100-miler at the beginning of the year, but it was really flat and controlled course, so it wasn't very exciting.
Okay. All right. So you found that sweet spot where it's enjoyable and you still get a challenge, but you're not like injuring yourself or running the risk of, that type of situation again.
Say a comfort zone.
Okay. All right.
Got to push myself back out of the comfort zone to get back to where I want to be.
All right. Makes sense. All right, man. So look, we're coming up to the end of our time, or hey, we can keep talking if you want. I don't care. What's next? I know you said you got the Pikes Peak run that's coming up. So that's coming up. I need to ask you this. Is there like a Super Bowl or like a World Cup of like running like for this? Like have you thought far enough into what that would look like, or is there something that exists already?
You talking for running with beer or for ultra running in general?
Yeah. Or both for that matter.
No, because my side of the sport isn't very competitive. I don't really want to push that angle. There are enough people out there who are into hero worship and bowing down to people who can outperform them. Well, guess what? Good job with your genetics. Good job with your training. But for the rest of us out here, we need something to strive for, and that's being better than we were before, as opposed to being better than you are right now.
All right.
So competition between different people really doesn't turn me on. Okay.
All right. So overall, I mean, let's talk about the brand now, right? We're at the tail end of this. What's the vision, man, with running with beer?
Well, it keeps on evolving. I think the next baby step is figuring out how to sell you a running with beer hat.
Okay.
It'd look great on your head.
Okay. See, I've been rocking the Beerlosophy one. This is my go-to. So I can always use one of those.
Sweet. Hats, bottle openers, cozies, stuff like that, and then t-shirts once the economy opens back up.
Right on. Okay.
Right now, print on demand is dead. You can't even get it. You can't get the shirts to print on.
Really?
Huh. Yeah. And I was on Printify the other day, and you couldn't touch their products. They're just not happening right now.
Well, but you can get the other stuff made, right?
Yep, absolutely.
All right. Well, one door is closed, the other ones are open, man. So, hey, I got to get one of those hats. No joke. I'm gonna get one of those hats, and I want to get one with your signature on it. So when this blows up, I can be like, "Yep, the man himself. This is from the man himself." So, definitely. So. All this being said, right? I love the story. We joked around, has had some good laughs and everything with everything, and just talked about life in general. How can our viewers and followers get involved with running with beer? How are you recruiting? You signing up? How can our folks get on with you?
Absolutely. Anytime you want to, hop on Facebook, look up Run Dog.
Sabotage you.
Sabotage dog. Look up Running with Beer. We also have a website that is active but not very exciting yet. We have runs just about every month. We got one right now that's called Ranger Panty Run.
Okay.
Gotta
Uh,
wear shorts.
all right. What's the Ranger panty run for those out there who don't have an idea of what that may entail?
Find your shortest shorts. Put them on.
I've seen Ranger panties. I've seen them.
There you go.
All right.
Drink a beer before, during, or after.
All right.
Send me a photo of something. Could be your car, apparently. Doesn't matter. I don't want to see your legs. Your address, and I send you a sticker. So stickers are our main means of outreach right now. They're always free. They will always be free. Our events will always be free.
Nice.
You do not have to pay for them. They are not racist. You are not classed against other people or how well you did last time. You just go out and have fun.
That's all you can ask. Like, phenomenal concept, right? Amazing concept.
Right?
Come on, have some fun.
Yeah. Pay $0. Go out, have fun, drink a beer. Life is rough.
It can always be rough if you get a ill-fitting set of Ranger panties. It can always get worse. Yes. So, hey, fellow Marauders. Hey, we just chopped it up with the homie Dave Doran. And, we talked about running with beer responsibly and classy. And, it's all about just going out there, trying your best, doing your best, pushing yourself, having a beer, being respectful, and just having a good time. Did I sum it all up, Dave?
You nailed it.
All right, there it is. So before we wrap it up, hey, final thoughts and shout outs. What you got for us? Where can we, like you already gave us, the plug for, where we can find the Running with Beer, how we can get involved, the next race and all that stuff coming up. What do you got for final thoughts out there for the listeners and viewers?
I'm going old school with it. You ready for it?
Let's hear it.
Have fun. Be safe.
All right. I thought you were going to hit us with love, peace, and soul, but that'll work too. I like it. So, hey, we appreciate you coming on, Dave. And definitely I'll put up that information on, Running with Beer and how these folks can get involved and support as well. And, Culture Marauders, if there's anything we can do to support, please don't hesitate to ask, man. We're always down. You're part of the crew now, so we'll look after you.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
Right. Yeah.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Hey, no problem. Hey, so my final thoughts and everything. Hey, this is simple, right? This is a way to get out and while we're locked down in COVID, the roads aren't closed, at least most of them, right? So get out there, get active, get running, get moving, and have a little beer with it. It sounds like a lot, but in theory, it's really not. You can go out there and just, have fun with it and explore some new stuff, some new beers, some new suds. For my shout outs, as always, I like to give a shout out to my family, to my wife. She's cooking dinner right now while I'm doing this show. I'm about to go mow down on some of this salmon and, hang out with my kids a little bit. But I also want to thank, shout out to the viewers, the listeners, everybody who's been following, man. The Culture Marauders, I've been getting tons of followers, man. Good people out there, a lot of interesting people. I can't wait to work with all of y'all and connect and grow this podcasting world that we're all a part of. Dave, thank you for coming on, man, sharing your story, sharing, the vision for Running with Beer. I think it's great. I think it's really, really cool. And I can't wait to see where it takes off, man. It takes you. Also to the healthcare workers out there, as always, hey, as y'all see, I'm in Florida, man. So we are now the hot spot of the country. So everybody out there, hey, y'all be safe. Take care of each other. Keep a lookout for each other. Don't take any unnecessary risks, man. I know y'all want to get out there and party, hit the beach and stuff, but do it responsibly. Wear your mask, right? Wear your damn mask. And, also to the healthcare workers, things are ramping up. We need y'all more than ever, as also with the essential workers as well. The grocery store clerks, the cashiers, all those folks that keep the shelves stocked, and as well as the unsung heroes out there, the trash collection folks. School's going to be starting up here again. Teachers, we need y'all again. Just everybody out there that makes this world what it is, and lets us allows us to enjoy those comforts that we have. Thank you for doing what you do, so we can do what we do. And then also to the military. Finally, to the military, as always, I appreciate y'all. Shout out to the Wild Bunch convoy crew out there, the Ride or Die, and then vehicle operators out there, ground trans folks, and everybody else out there still deploying down range, all branches, Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines, and then also the Coast Guard, because I know y'all are doing some stuff too. So, but yeah, just all love from the Culture Marauders, man. And as always, if you got something you want to maraud on, there's a number of different ways you can hit us up. Follow us on Instagram at _culture_marauders. Like us on Facebook at The Culture Marauders. And then if you got something you really want to maraud on or just want to hit us up and say what's up, email us at theculturemarauders@gmail.com. And I'm going to leave you one more plug. Get out and vote. November is coming up, y'all. And we need everybody to get up there so we can go ahead and get Orange Julius out of there, get him out of the office, and let's get back to the country that we don't laugh at me. So we
I'm laughing with you.
So we can get back out there, man, and just try to figure this thing out, and I'm just beyond amazed at where we are in this world right now. Some good things some of the things that happen are necessary. Some other things I could do without. But yeah, get out there and vote. And as always, I'm gonna leave you with the tagline: one culture, one blood, one love. So for the Culture Marauders, the homie Dave, fellow marauder, to the crew, we're out. Peace.